Well, hey there, everybody. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Looks like we're about getting ready for some weather here in the south. There's a little tropical storm slash hurricane brewed up real quick like that, and I think we're going to get some rain from it. We're not going to get any actual weather from it. It's going to hit it somewhere over on the little west of us on the Gulf Coast. It's looking like Gulfport, Mississippi, but it's that time of year. Anyhow, today I want to talk about how I do raw vegan lifestyle and why. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, please go down there and hit that subscribe button now, and then immediately check that little bell and click send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Oh, by the way, guys, I always have my info down below. Come follow me over on Instagram. I'm going to be announcing soon. I'm going to give one of these away. Actually, it's going to be a female. This is a female shirt. I'm doing some t-shirt giveaways from stuff that I have sizes left from Woodstock. I gave a lot of stuff there, so I'm going to be giving away some specific sizes, but I'll be announcing that over on Instagram real soon. How I do the raw vegan lifestyle and why. I like to continuously define my process, not just how I eat, but the way I do this channel and why I do it. And I like to keep it just as simple as possible because I get complicated, detailed questions. And if you really are paying attention to me, I'm not a complicated, detailed person. When I get those type of questions, I almost have flashbacks to being in school and like I have to write a project or do a paper because a lot of the questions, to be frank, I'm just not interested in. And I'll sit down and I'll start Googling, but I'm like, why am I doing somebody else's research for them? Listen, you either take the essence of what this raw tropical living thing is or you don't. And hey, God bless you. There's many approaches to get to there's a lot of ways to get to an objective. So I'm not saying like, okay, if you're not following my approach, you're doing it wrong. But my approach is my approach, and I try to stay in my lane. I don't talk about a lot of things that I haven't personally studied myself. I don't give out advice on specific health issues. I always just try to give good general information, which I think to be good practical information. But for me, what it all boils down to on this lifestyle is practicality. Practicality in life. There's this version that, and I think that's where as humans we make mistakes sometimes. We have this ideal and we keep shooting for this ideal, and a lot of times our methods or even the ideal itself is a little far-fetched. It's a stretch. It's not realistic. And people get frustrated because they keep failing, trying to do the same thing over and over and over, thinking just one of these times it's going to be a little bit different. Everything that's led me, almost every experience I've had, all the ups and downs where I've come from on this lifestyle have all been natural. I have never at any point since day one on this lifestyle said, okay, I'm going to try to do this, I'm going to do this, and I've really had to, grind it out or make an effort or do this. I've just kind of like, I educated myself on some of the fundamentals of a plant-based diet. I read a lot of different stuff. I read stuff related to just plant-based, solid plant-based information. I've read and watched a ton of stuff on raw, and I've just kind of like absorbed it all, used some of it, not used some of it, and have kind of just figured out how it worked for me. But it's all been a natural progression. So when people are, well, how do I do this? Well, I'm not quite sure how you do this because my body just led me. It's kind of like I had a guide holding my hand, taking me down a corridor step by step. Led me, almost like I was a blind man totally being led. But once again, I don't want to make that sound like some of this woo-woo stuff like, oh, just listen to your body, just totally trust your body. I have educated myself. I've read a lot. I've made a decision for myself. I tell you guys all the time, I can't retain this stuff. I can't sit here and spit all this raw stuff like that like a lot of people can, just simply because I burned out too many centers in my brain for 30 years of drinking. So I don't have the great powers of retention, but I do have pretty good powers of comprehension. So when I've read stuff and it makes sense to me and I apply it to my life, That's what I'm going to go by. That's always what I'm going to go by. Now, nobody's ever heavy-handed, but I kind of, I always get just kind of this little laugh when somebody gives me advice. Well, you should go do this or you should do that. Why? I'm not, never, never, never am I going to just hear some random, oh, you should do this. Okay, sure, just random Joe Blow, anonymous says I should do this. So I'm going to change what I'm doing that feels good, that works for me, because of some random person out there that says I should do it. And that should be your mentality with everybody. That should be your mentality with me. Don't buy what I have to say hook, line, and sinker. Always go verify it for yourself, research it for yourself, try it on yourself. But the practicality works for me, and keeping it super simple works for me. Another one I get is, well, God, is this all you eat? That's boring. That's not once again, I'm not saying my approach is going to work for everybody, but doing things very simple is always going to be the best way for me. And, yes, I eat a very limited range of foods for periods of time, but that's not anything other than just how I want to eat at that time. That's what's available, or that's the mood I'm in. Maybe I don't feel like making food right now, so I eat a lot of ice cream, I make smoothies. But it's always, just coming from how I feel at the time. I get asked about this feasting and fasting all the time. Well, Jack, what is your thoughts on this? I love that. They're getting next level serious when they're like, well, they give you a little preface and then they're like, well, what are your thoughts on feasting and fasting? I don't have them. I don't feast. I don't fast. I eat. I've been eating clean for 6.5 years. I've been eating well for 6.5 years. I've been eating mostly raw, very high raw for 6.5 years. And I don't go back and forth. In other words, like I haven't fallen off the wagon. Have you ever seen me have to do one of those teary-eyed come to Jesus videos where, oh guys, I fell out? No, I don't do that. I don't go back and forth. I just progress along. I just keep going along. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. It's not all that exciting because I don't jump from here to there, but just constantly like that little train that could. I think I can. I think I can. You keep chugging along. So feasting and fasting, I don't know anything about feasting and fasting. I'm probably not going to know anything about feasting and fasting, but let's just take that out of the equation. If that is so important to you, instead of sitting around and arguing whether you shouldn't, go ahead and do it. Get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. However long you want to feast or fast for, whatever it is, do the 30-day juice feast. Okay, let's stop debating that, and please stop ad nauseum telling me constantly about the benefits of it. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. But here's something I want you to think about. You can't live on a juice feast. You can't fast for the rest of your life. At some point, go ahead, do 2 months. Do 2 months. Put it off. Put off actually getting to where you eat the food and live a balanced way of living. Do the juice feast 2 months, 3 months, whatever you need to clean yourself out. And then just come back and let's talk when it's time for you to learn how to actually eat. Because I see people that do these feast and fast and they go hardcore over and over, but they're yo-yo. They're back and forth. They're up. They're down. They're, oh my God, I feel so amazing. I'm back on. I'm doing my juice feast, blah, 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 blah. And they buzz and they buzz. And then you don't hear from them for a while. And then there's usually that come to you and, yeah, I've fallen off. And they go eat, and almost I consider that restricting. They do this stuff like, oh, but you need to do this. They want to go next level. And then they eat garbage. They're like a goat just rutting around in a trash can eating garbage. So I don't need people, to be quite honest, I don't take the juice feasters all that seriously when they're that type, and I've seen them go back and forth. So it's about practicality, how I feel, and my body constantly leads me in, in eating in a different way. Now that I'm back in the States for the foreseeable future, I find my body changing kind of almost seasonally, even though I don't think it's so much the weather as it is just the time of the year and the availability of stuff. But also, too, just to kind of finish off with this, This also has to do with the message that I try to put out here, that I try to share on all my social media. And that's why I'm not heavy-handed, and that's why I'm not one of these raw is law, down for raw, you know, just preaching it's got to be fully raw all the time. Because, yes, I mean, unequivocally, I feel my best when I'm eating fully raw. If I'd just been getting one more smoothie in there, I was just on top of the world at Woodstock, eating a lot of juicy fruit and really, you know, just getting all kind of good stuff. I was on top of the world. The only thing I would have needed to do to probably be at my highest pinnacle was just add a smoothie every day to kind of keep my weight up. But no, I feel absolutely, I'm not going to make any bones about that. Fully raw, yes, I always feel my absolute best. Full of energy, the best digestion, the clearest eyes, the best skin, the best of everything when I'm fully raw. But I also know that, you know, I'm kind of practical and I'm kind of lazy. I'm not, it doesn't throw me that far off my game to say if I travel or if I go to Pensacola for a day to have something, you know, that's not my day-to-day. But those are the decisions I've made for myself. Now, the reason I put it out here is just, once again, practicality, and I'm realistic. Look at the numbers. I always talk about that, the odds. Raw vegans are the tiniest, most minute of any group out there. You are not going to convince most people, if you're sharing this information for whatever reasons, whether it's for health, for the animals, for the planet, most people are not going to become vegan. I mean, no matter how much stuff you put out there, it's hard to get people to even, well, number one, it's hard just to get people to clean up and eat a little bit better. Number two, to get them to eat vegan, that's a real feat right there. And when you go down to even another subset below that and you're talking raw vegan, the numbers are so tiny. Like if you're putting a message out to people, like the amount of people that are actually probably going to consider going vegan, go vegan, or come to a lifestyle because of watching you is probably small anyway, but the chances that they're going to go and just actually be raw vegan is very slim. So that's why I like to give options along the way, because I really want to try to help or affect as many people as possible and not just be so honed in on this one little narrow subset and trying to, you know, getting into the micro details of, okay, how to do the raw vegan lifestyle just a little bit better and tips or tricks. You're either going to do it or you're not. But like I say, when I'm putting a message out there, I'm just realistic. Not everybody's going to be raw vegan. Not everybody wants to be raw vegan. And even if you can convince them that the facts are all there, people still may not. So I want to leave options, and I want to reach people, and I want to be able to help people, even if they're not going to go all the way. It's not like, okay, screw you, you're not going to be raw vegan. I don't want to, you know, help you at all. So anyhow, that's just kind of a big hodgepodge of different things. I hope that wasn't too rambling, but anyhow, hope you enjoyed it. If you like this one, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.